Hey everybody, Casey July from the July Studio, coming at you again today. I would like to continue talking to you a little bit about my last video. I called it So Unprofessional. So this is So Unprofessional, take two. And today I would like to talk to you a little bit about exposure. As I said in my last video, one of the things that happens is people get in touch with me and they have really unrealistic ideas of what collaboration looks like, what commissions look like. And so I just thought I'd make a couple of videos here and talk to you guys about what I'm learning about my needs as a business and kind of just give you guys a general idea of what I'm running into, and then also comment down below if you run into similar issues, if you have similar experiences, and if you've got some good advice, please let me know. I would really, if you're struggling with some stuff like this and you're looking for some places to go, I would really suggest hooking up with some mentors. There's been a couple of people on Twitter that I've hooked up with as mentors. I've shot them questions on Twitter, even if they have thousands of followers, and they've actually answered me back. Another really great company or organization is SCORE. It's all capital letters, and a lot of what they do is they are like retired professionals, and they volunteer time to help business owners, small business owners, and people with non-traditional businesses. Like starting your business on the internet is still considered a non-traditional business, even though it's like this huge growing market. So today I want to talk about exposure. I get a lot of messages from people and they say, and they don't say anything else, will you send me your work for exposure? That's it. Oh, by the way, that's magical. It's my cat. You may hear my dog, Lily. Some of you know I have fur family, and proud of it. And of course, it's like mom on the phone. They have no use for me until I'm recording or I'm talking on the phone or something like that. So there's a cute tail. All right. So when you message me, this is my experience, and you're asking me to work for exposure, I'm going to give you 3 things that help make that conversation way more smooth, and it gives us the best experience when we're talking about working together. Number 1, when you have a job, you talk about how much does the job pay. Even if you're working for exposure, you have to define the payment. Now, this could be magazine, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but here's the deal. Defining the payment means you are telling me what I'm getting paid. So if you say, I'm going to do an Instagram interview and I want to wear one of your cosplay jackets and I have 5,000 followers on Instagram, you just defined the exposure. You just defined the payment. If you cannot tell me what I'm actually getting for letting you borrow something, then you're not defining the payment. You're not telling me exactly what I'm getting out of the deal. If you message me and you say, I am going to be on a cosplay panel, and I'm going to be talking about what I do, but I want to wear something you made, and there's supposed to be, 200 people viewing this panel. You just told me what the exposure was. You just told me what my payment was. So if you get in touch with me and you're like, hey, will you send me some of your stuff for exposure? And I'm like, what's the exposure? What am I being exposed to? And then your response is, you're so rude or you're so unprofessional. That's one of the first mistakes that was made in that conversation, was there's no definition of what the exposure actually was. Number 2, you have to define the target market and not likes. Likes on Facebook is not a target market. For me, my target market is steampunk. My target market is cosplay. My target market is people like brides who are looking for one-of-a-kind dresses, like a steampunk bride or a cosplay bride. Right now I'm working on some leather coats for some gentlemen who wanted to have their wedding be like the show Gallivant. So that is a target market for me. If you get in touch with me and you're like, hey, we're going to put a little teeny tiny picture in a golf magazine, will you work for exposure? That's probably going to be a no for me, because a little teeny tiny picture in a golf magazine is not going to reach my target market. And you're also not exposing me to a market that is going to be profitable or bigger than the market I already have. If you come to me and you do something that's totally different and totally outrageous from what I do, and you're like, but I want you to make a coat for me for exposure, then you're actually hitting a different target market from me with real exposure, going back to defining the payment. And that's how that works together. If you get in touch with me and you cannot define what that target market is, where that exposure is going, then it's not going to be very profitable for the July studio. And so that's just something else to think of when you get in touch with me or anybody else that does work like what I do. And the final point I'm going to talk to you about today is defining a contract. This is so hard. You take responsibility for my stuff. Even if you are not paying me for it, you're still taking responsibility for it. It's going to either be shipped to you in the mail, someone has to pay for shipping, someone has to be responsible for it. If it's going to a photo shoot, let's say you're doing an outdoor photo shoot in the park. And I'm like, okay, I have taffeta, I have velvet, I have all of these different things that my clothes are made out of. Who's taking responsibility for the clothes? How are they getting back to me? Who's taking responsibility for shipping these things back to me, for making sure that they didn't get torn up, messed up? I have lent things out in the past that people still have. That's technically theft. It's been like 3 years and you still haven't returned the clothes to the July studio that you borrowed. Then you stole them. You stole them from me. So that's another thing that I talk to people about, and I'm like, what exactly is the terms of the contract? And they're like, well, you're working for exposure. And I'm like, yeah, but you're taking responsibility for stuff that belongs to the July studio. So these are just 3 things to keep in mind. Like I said, when you get in touch with me and you want to talk to me about collaboration or working together, you want to talk to me about using my work and giving me exposure, just remember that you have to define that exposure. And if somebody says to you, this just doesn't sound like the right project for me, or it's not my target market or whatever, they're not being unprofessional. They're actually being very professional by telling you exactly what it is that they're seeing in the offer that you're sending them. Just because somebody turns you down doesn't automatically mean they're unprofessional. It just may mean that what you're offering them at that time, you're either offering them incomplete information that they can't make a good decision, or you're just offering them something that's not a good opportunity for them. All right, everybody, this is Casey July from the July Studio. I will keep you posted on what I have going on, and I will keep making videos. I'm going to get some of this stuff that's been heavy on my heart out of the way, and then we'll start making sewing videos, and I'm working on the outlines for the sew hashtag SEW drunk videos, which are going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Comment down below, like I said, if you've had similar issues, if you've had similar experiences, and you have some ideas, maybe how you handle clients, potential clients, people that get in touch with you who have outlandish expectations or unrealistic expectations. Customer service is such a huge deal, especially in today's society. We're all so close-knit together, and it's so much fun. And it feels amazing when things work out and you're able to make sure that everybody involved in a project gets what they need from the project, the exposure they need, the payment they need, and building those one-on-one relationships with clients and customers and other people. So take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you again soon.